This is SMNI News Channel. Truth that matters.
The Marcos administration's persisting harassment against the Maisug peace rally threatens to cast a chilling effect and will backfire in suppressing the people's rights to free speech and peaceful assembly. For international lawyer Arnedo Valera, Filipino will not succumb to fear. He further urged the public to denounce what he calls authoritarian ruling of the current government for disregarding the Constitution. Marcos Jr.'s remarks on World Press Freedom Day were brushed off as a joke on free expression by many, including former presidential spokesperson Atty. Roque. For the human rights lawyer, Marcos' words contradict his actions towards SMNI. PBBM's words also drew flack from netizens, especially as the country slipped 2 places in the World Press Freedom Index this year. The Philippine government is eyeing to revert to the old school calendar in 2025 following the recommendation of the Department of Education under the leadership of Vice President Sara Duterte. This comes amid the intense hot weather brought by El Niño, which has led to disruptions in classes. In other news, Thailand's tourist hotspot, Chiang ranks 4th for worst air pollution in the entire world. Chiang now has airborne pollutants said to be 20 times higher than the standard of the World Health Organization and has been frequently blanketed by smog. And Japan is preparing for 3-way talks with South Korea and China this month, the first such meeting since 2029. I am Franco Baranda. Newsline World starts now. An Iranian warship equipped with missiles and drones crossed the equator for the first time. Melchizedek Cadis reports.
Shahid Madavi, a converted container ship operated by Iran's Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps, embarked for its first long-range mission. Iran introduced the advanced warship more than a year ago. Weighing more than 2,100 tons, Shahid Madavi joined the IRCG Navy fleet in March 2023. The advanced warship is equipped with modern radars and a surface-to-air missile system and is the first naval vessel in Iran to be equipped with long-range ballistic missiles. It crossed the equator and entered the southern hemisphere for the first time as part of a long-distance maritime mission. The milestone achieved by the Iranian warship was announced days after the Islamic Republic observed the Persian Gulf Day, which celebrates the history of the strategic waterway. The holiday signifies the end of Portugal's 115 years occupation of the Gulf in the 17th century and the ouster of the Portuguese military forces from the Strait of Hormuz in 1622. Vessels of Iran's Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps were present during a ceremony marking the annual holiday. Iran reassured its commitment to protecting the Persian Gulf, which produces nearly 1/3 of the world's oil and holds more than half of the world's crude oil reserves. Reporting from Kuwait, I am Melchizedek Cadis, your global citizen correspondent for God and for our beloved country, the Philippines.
Sharjah, one of the 7 sheikdoms in the United Arab Emirates, announced the discovery of new gas reserves. Gratero Omori with a report.
The Emirate of Sharjah discovered its 5th onshore gas field following a historic discovery in 2020. The new gas reserves were found in the Al Hadiba field located north of the Al Sajjah industrial area in Sharjah. The latest find showed promising quantities of gas that will help boost the UAE's energy sector. The Emirate, however, did not reveal the total volumes of gas discovered but said the new field was unearthed after drilling in the past few months. The well will be tested in the days ahead to confirm the quantities and potential gas reserves of the field for development, according to the Media Government Bureau of Sharjah. The 5th onshore field was unveiled after the Emirate found a new well in 2020, its first discovery in more than 30 years. Sharjah is also exploring initiatives related to green hydrogen and carbon capture as part of its goal to reach net zero emissions by 2032. Reporting from Dubai, I'm Galtero Omar, your global citizen correspondent for SM9 News Channel.
Mexican authorities confirmed that the 3 bodies found near one of its beach destinations popular to tourists belong to the 2 Australian brothers and their American friend. Trisha Molina has the story.
After a week-long desperate search, the families of Australian brothers Jake and Callum Robinson, as well as their American friend Jack Carter Road, received the worst news they never wanted to hear. Results of forensic tests showed the bodies found about 6 kilometers from the camping site where they were supposedly killed belonged to the missing surfers. The victims showed signs they had been executed and suffered gruesome death at the hands of their killers. Their bodies were found buried under a well about 10 to 15 meters deep, in a state of decomposition and with gunshots in their heads. Authorities believe the victims fought with the perpetrators to defend themselves after getting ambushed, which led to their untimely death. The perpetrators drove to the victims' remote campsite, intending to steal their vehicle to take the tires and other parts. But a heated confrontation followed, which turned into a gruesome murder. Police found shell casings at the scene. 3 Mexican nationals, 2 male and a female, were arrested in possession of methamphetamines and one of the missing men's phones. Even before the forensic tests were performed this past weekend, authorities warned there was a high probability the bodies belonged to the missing Aussie brothers and their American friend. The 3 tourists have been missing since April 27 after they failed to arrive at their prearranged Airbnb accommodation. Reporting, this has been Trisha Molina, SM9 News.
The foreign ministers of the 3 largest economies in East Asia prepare the groundwork for a trilateral summit in South Korea. Let's hear the report from Shaloli.
South Korea, Japan, and China are working in a plan to hold a trilateral summit by the end of the month. Final arrangements are being made to hold a trilateral summit on May 26th and 27th, according to South Korea's foreign ministry. The meeting will bring together South Korean President Yoon Suk-yeol, Japanese Prime Minister Fumio Kishida, and Chinese Premier Li Qiang. The 3 foreign ministers will focus on 6 areas, including people-to-people exchanges, economy and trade, public health, and peace and security, among other things. An official announcement for the conference is expected in few days. The current 3-way summit framework is being chaired by South Korea. Negotiations to revive the summit have been discussed by the 3 countries since last year. The upcoming meeting raised hopes of easing the growing geopolitical rift and helping ensure stability in the Asia-Pacific. The 3 Asian countries held their first summit in 2019 but postponed the annual meeting in 2019 due to the COVID-19 pandemic and strings of political differences. Reporting from South Korea, this is Shalu Lee, your global citizen correspondent for God in our beloved country, the Philippines.
Japanese Prime Minister Fumio Kishida has vowed to engage with other nations in South America to address challenges such as climate change, economics, and poverty. Kishida made the statement in Sao Paulo, Brazil, where he outlined Japan's policy towards Latin America as it seeks to deepen ties with the global South, a term referring to emerging and developing nations. According to the Japanese Prime Minister, with Brazil holding the presidency of the G20 countries and Peru serving as the chair of the APEC Forum, the Global South is in spotlight this year. To recall, last Friday, Kishida held talks with Brazilian President Luiz Inácio Lula da Silva and Paraguayan President Santiago Peña as part of his 6-day tour. This marks Kishida's first visit to South America since taking office in 2021. Up next, an international lawyer is urging Filipinos to denounce the Marcos administration's persisting harassment against the Maisug peace rally. According to Atty. Arnedo Valera, the current government's actions can cause a chilling effect and will ultimately backfire against them for suppressing the rights of the people. And Marcos Jr.'s remarks on World Press Freedom Day were brushed off as a joke on free expression by many, including former presidential spokesperson Atty. Roque. For the human rights lawyer, Marcos' words contradict his actions towards SMNI. PBBM's words also drew flag from netizens, especially as the country took places in the World Press Freedom Index. Newsline World will be back after the break.
Problema nyo, itawag kay Panelo. Ikaw ba'y may suliranin na may kinalaman sa mga ahensya ng ating pamahalaan? Inihahandog ng SMNI ang programang makakapiling ninyo sa araw-araw na maaring ninyong maging daingan. Tampok ang dating Chief Legal Counsel ng nakaraang Pangulo, ang veteranong abogado na si Atty. Salvador Sal Panelo.
Bishops.
Tulong at payo tagapamagitan sa ating mga lingkod bayan. Problema nyo, itawag kay Panelo. Lunes hanggang Biyernes, alas 9 hanggang alas 10 ng umaga. Dito lamang sa SMNI. Ang totoong boses ng bayan.
Welcome to SMNI. You're watching Business and Politics. I'm Dante Klinkang.
Today's world can be described by the acronym VUCA, which stands for volatile, uncertain, complex, and ambiguous. And yet, being immobilized by fear is not an option. How will captains of industry navigate the course ahead? And what policy assistance will they get from the leaders in government? Watch SMNI as it tackles these and other important questions of the day. On Business and Politics, hosted by Dante Klinkang II, Chairman and CEO of the Manila Times. New episodes featuring corporate and political leaders air every Saturday. Prime time at 7 p.m. Only here on SMNI. Truth that matters.
Abangan ang Banateros tuwing Martes at Huwebes, live dito lang sa SMNI.
Yan ang Banateros, walang inuurungan. Pag tama palakpakan, pag mali ay babanatan.
Magandang umaga Luzon, Visayas, Mindanao. Maayong buntag mga kapartner. Magandang araw sa buong mundo.
Magandang araw Pilipinas. Ito ang Pulso ng Bayan.
Hihimayin ang mga pangunahing issue sa ating bayan. Susuriin ang mga kinakailangang malaman ng taong bayan. Aalamin ang pulso ng bawat Pilipino sa mga pangyayari sa ating lipunan. Pulso ng Bayan, alas 7 hanggang alas 9 ng umaga, tuwing Lunes hanggang Biyernes. Kasama ang spokes ng Bayan, Atty. Harry Roque, Admar Vilado at Jade Calabroso. Dito lang sa SMNI.
kung tatanungin, kahit saang aspeto, gusto ko garantisado. Metikuloso akong tao, kaya gusto ko lahat maayos at sigurado. Lahat quality, yung hindi ako makukompromiso, pero sulit ang presyo. Ganyan ang clean fuel, kaya dito, panatag ang loob ko.
Magandang umaga po, sir. Utang po.
Utang. Kung gusto mo ng dekalidad na gasolina pero sulit ang halaga, mag-clean fuel ka.
Problema nyo, itawag kay Panelo. Ikaw ba'y may suliranin na may kinalaman sa mga ahensya ng ating pamahalaan? Inihahandog ng SMNI ang programang makakapiling ninyo sa araw-araw na maaring ninyong maging daingan. Tampok ang dating Chief Legal Counsel ng nakaraang Pangulo, ang veteranong abogado na si Atty. Salvador Sal Panelo.
Bishops.
Tulong at payo tagapamagitan sa ating mga lingkod bayan. Problema nyo, itawag kay Panelo. Lunes hanggang Biyernes alas 9 hanggang alas 10 ng umaga dito lamang sa SMNI. Ang totoong boses ng bayan.
Abangan ang Banateros tuwing Martes at Huwebes, live dito lang sa SMNI.
Yan ang Banateros, walang inuurungan. Pag tama palakpakan, pag mali ay babanatan. Yan ang
Legal expert and TV show host Atty. Harry Roque criticized President Bongbong Marcos' recognition of press freedom. MJ Mondihar will give us the details.
President Bongbong Marcos recently acknowledged the heroism of journalists in celebrating World Press Freedom Day. In his message, the president recognized the bravery of journalists in producing unbiased reports. The president also commended the promotion of truth and transparency in the country. However, for Atty. Harry Roque, who is also a TV host of SMNI, the president's words were nothing but a joke or excessive flattery. Roque stated that the chief executive's statement was far from the truth because SMNI was placed under indefinite suspension during his term. Roque questioned that if Marcos Jr. admires the media as a fourth estate, why did he allow the suspension and embarrassment of SMNI, the only network that helped him win during the elections?
Isa lang po reaksyon natin dyan. Charot.
According to Roque, a human rights lawyer, Filipinos won't be fooled anymore, and that SMNI will continue its mission to reveal the truth about what's happening in the Marcos Jr. administration.
Mga pinagsasabi mo ay napapasinungalingan po sa ginawa ninyo sa SMNI na inyong tanging kakampi ng eleksyon, pinasara ninyo, pinatanggal niyo ang prangkisa. At least ang iyong pinsan na si Speaker at ang kanyang mga kaalyado sa Kamara de Representante.
Roque further stated that other TV networks would face the same fate as SMNI if they reported against the administration.
Charot, charot, charot ang sinasabi nyo sa malayang pamamahayag. Hay nako, hindi na po kami nakukuha sa bola dahil alam namin, Exhibit A, SMNI.
Bola ba? Bola? Bola?
Hindi nga bola, charot.
Roque also foresaw that other TV networks would experience what happened to SMNI if they reported against the administration.
Well, alam niyo po, darating din lahat dyan. Kaya ang mga mamamahayag, kung hindi kayo maninindigan sa inyong karapatan, bakit pa kayo nandiyan sa hanap buhay na yan? O lahat kayo, mag-that's entertainment na lang. Kung ang gusto ninyo ay prangkisa lamang, bagamat hindi nyo ginagampan ang inyong katungkulan na dapat itaguyod ang ang katotohanan, lalong-lalo na katotohanan ng mga kapalpakan at mga kabalastugan ng gobyerno. Dahil kaya nga tayo naririto para bantayan ng gobyerno.
For Gunmobile of Philippines, MJ Mondeha, SMNI News.
President Bongbong Marcos just left off the leaked documents from the Philippine Drug Enforcement Agency, or PDEA, linking him to illegal drugs. When asked by the media to comment on the issue, Marcos Jr. simply brushed it off with a laugh and walked away. In April, PDEA Director General Moro Virgilio Lazo stated that there were no such documents about Marcos Jr. and Soriano's reported drug use circulating on social media. However, Senator Ronald Bato de la Rosa, former chief of the Philippine National Police, believes that the leaked PDEA documents are not fabricated. De la Rosa has also pointed out the red flags he observed during the Senate committee's investigation into the said documents regarding Marcos. Among those who attended the Senate hearing was former PDEA agent Jonathan Morales, who claimed that he signed the pre-operations report. Morales insisted that the operation was genuine and that he filed a pre-op based on the statement of a confidential informant who implicated Marcos and actress Maricel Soriano as allegedly using a white powdery substance. It is worth noting that former President Rodrigo Roa Duterte previously stated that Marcos Jr. was involved in illegal drug use and was included in the PDEA's narco list. An international lawyer warned that the Marcos administration attitude towards the Maisug peace rally brings a chilling effect, leading to Filipinos standing more resolutely against the administration's oppression of the people's right to peaceful assembly. Here's the report by Carlo de la Peña.
International lawyer attorney Arnedo Valera is calling on Filipinos to denounce the continuing suppression by the Marcos administration of the people's rights to freedom of speech and peaceful assembly. This comes after the recent harassment of the Maisug peace rally slated to take place in Dumaguete City on May 7th. To recall, the Maisug peace rally was previously disrupted, which was initially set to occur in Bustos, Bulacan last April. For Attorney Valera, the current administration's actions represent authoritarian and dictatorial rule.
Dapat ang buong sambayanan talagang ikondena itong ganitong sitwasyon na hindi ito tendencies ng isang demokratikong bansa for the people and by the people. Hindi. Authoritarian ruling ito. Dictatorial ruling ito. Dahil yung saligang batas natin ay binabaliwala. Lalong-lalo na kung ang mga tinutukoy na mga nagpro-protest ay nag-express ng legitimate dissent na pagtutol sa mga polisiya ng Marcos administration sa isang mapayapang paraan.
Valera reiterates that the right to freedom of speech and assembly is not a privilege granted by any authority, but a fundamental right of the peoples as stated in the Constitution. He is certain that the actions of the current administration will have a chilling effect.
Ang mamamayan ay titindig at hindi yan magpapadala sa takot. Bagkos ay lalong yan iigting at lalong matitipon ang tinig ng sambayanan, no? Kaya itong ginagawa nila ngayon, magkakaroon yan ng chilling effect at babaliktad yan dahil lalong dadami at tuloy-tuloy ang pagkilos laban sa Marcos administration.
The international lawyer stressed that continuously obstructing freedom of speech and assembly should not be tolerated as it reflects a dark democracy in the country.
Paggamit ng politikal na kapangyarihan ng local officials na may basbas ang Malacanang upang supilin ang lehitimong disensyo ng oposisyon ay talagang ito ay hindi po ito tatak ng isang lipunang demokratiko kundi isang tatak ng isang diktatorial na rehimen.
To recall, former President Duterte also warned that local governments refusing to allow rallies could face legal action. Reporting, this has been Carlo de la Peña, SMNI News.
A senator has raised concerns about the increasing number of foreigners in high-end subdivisions, suggesting they could be working for a Philippine offshore gaming operator or POGO. Troy Gomez tells us more.
The growing presence of foreigners in upscale gated subdivisions continues to raise alarm, prompting Senator Win Gatchalian to call for an investigation of this trend, as he suspects these individuals might be employed by Philippine offshore gaming operators or POGO, now known as Internet Gaming Licensees. The chairperson of the Senate Committee on Ways and Means cited the concerns raised by homeowners in multinational village in Parañaque City due to the increasing number of foreigners residing in their subdivision. According to residents' reports, an enclave within the subdivision features Chinese restaurants, spas, and salons exclusively for these foreigners. Gatchalian stated that it should be ensured that these foreigners are not employees of POGO, which are often linked to crimes. He cited the alarming raid conducted in November 2023 by the National Bureau of Investigation or NBI at a residence in Ayala Alabang village, resulting in the arrest of 11 Chinese nationals for allegedly conducting illegal online gambling activities. Confiscated in the raid was an unlicensed 45 caliber pistol with a magazine and 6 rounds, a 9mm pistol with a magazine, a switchblade knife, and gambling paraphernalia. Gatchalian has been advocating for the removal of POGO from the country. It was previously reported by the government that the social cost of POGO's continued operation in the country outweigh any economic gains from the industry. Reporting for God and my beloved country, the Philippines, Troy Gomez, SMNI News.
When we come back, the Philippine government is eyeing to revert to the old school calendar in 2025 amid the intense hot weather brought by El Niño, which has led to disruptions of classes. And Thailand's Chiang ranks 4th for worst air pollution in the entire world. The country's tourist hotspots now has airborne pollutants said to be 20 times higher than the standard of the World Health Organization. Newsline World will be back after the break.
Welcome to SMNI. You're watching Business and Politics. I'm Dante Clinkang.
Today's world can be described by the acronym VUCA, which stands for volatile, uncertain, complex, and ambiguous. And yet, being immobilized by fear is not an option. How will captains of industry navigate the course ahead? And what policy assistance will they get from the leaders in government? Watch SMNI as it tackles these and other important questions of the day. On Business and Politics, hosted by Dante Clinkang II, Chairman and CEO of the Manila Times. New episodes featuring corporate and political leaders air every Saturday. Prime time at 7 p.m. Only here on SMNI. Truth that matters.
Magandang umaga Luzon, Visayas, Mindanao. Maayong buntag mga kapartner. Magandang araw sa buong mundo.
Magandang araw Pilipinas. Ito ang Pulso ng Bayan.
Hihimayin ang mga pangunahing issue sa ating bayan. Susuriin ang mga kinakailangang malaman ng taong bayan. Aalamin ang pulso ng bawat Pilipino sa mga pangyayari sa ating lipunan. Pulso ng Bayan, alas 7 hanggang alas 9 ng umaga, tuwing Lunes hanggang Biyernes. Kasama ang spokes ng Bayan, Atty. Harry Roque, Admar Vilado at Jade Calabroso. Dito lang sa SMNI. Problema nyo, itawag kay Panelo. Ikaw ba'y may suliranin na may kinalaman sa mga ahensya ng ating pamahalaan? Inihahandog ng SMNI ang programang makakapiling ninyo sa araw-araw na maaring ninyong maging daingan. Tampok ang dating Chief Legal Counsel ng nakaraang Pangulo, ang veteranong abogado na si Atty. Salvador Sal Panelo.
Bishops.
Tulong at payo tagapamagitan sa ating mga lingkod bayan. Problema nyo, itawag kay Panelo. Lunes hanggang Biyernes, alas 9 hanggang alas 10 ng umaga. Dito lamang sa SMNI. Ang totoong boses ng bayan.
It cannot be denied that the government has made significant progress in its fight against the communist terrorist group CPP and PANDF. According to the Philippine Army, among the programs that made significant contribution is the Int'l program, wherein thousands of former rebels have received assistance from the government. Almar Forzuelo reports.
Thousands of former rebels have received assistance from the government since the Duterte administration established the Enhanced Comprehensive Local Integration Program, or Int'l, in 2016. The Int'l is just one of the government's programs to make its services felt to those who need assistance through socio-economic interventions, financial assistance, cash for work opportunities, and many more. In an interview with SMNI News, Colonel Luis Di Maala, spokesperson of the Philippine Army, said that last year alone, over 5,000 former rebels were given a new chance through the said program.
Marami-rami, almost 5,000 former rebels tayo nakapag-avail ng Int'l.
Although in 2024, they are still continuing their validation of how many were able to avail of the said program. He said that some of the former rebels who surrendered were not only given a simple livelihood but also became active members of the Philippine Army.
Doon sa records naman ng doon sa Philippine Army, meron tayo yung mga former rebels na nag-apply ng Int'l na naging sundalo din. Actually, marami na rin tayo, no? Ay, wala lang akong eksaktong data. But definitely meron tayong mga dating former rebels na nag-avail ng amnesty at saka Int'l na naging sundalo ngayon, naging successful na sundalo.
Because of this, former rebels became instrumental in convincing those in armed groups to return to the government.
So sila yung ginagamit natin na pakikipag-usap sa mga kababayan natin, lalong-lalo na doon sa pamilya ng mga nasa armado pa, dahil kilala naman nila kung taga saan at kilala nila kung sino yung mga kamag-anak, at yun ang pinupuntahan nila para kausapin, para magpaabot doon sa kanilang mga kamag-anak na nasa loob pa ng armado na mag-surrender na.
At present, he said, because of the positive results of the eclipse and the various measures of the government is taking to achieve peace, the Philippine Army is optimistic that this year the problem of armed conflict will be resolved. Based on their latest record, they are only monitoring 11 inactive guerrilla fronts.
Masasabi natin na we are, kumbaga, konti na lang, no? Malapit na natin sila, kumbaga, yung armadong grupo, malapit na natin talaga neutralize, no? Doon sa latest reports natin na meron na lang tayong 11 inactive na guerrilla fronts, and within the year meron pang mga dismantle na guerrilla fronts. So we expect na within the year na to totally wala na.
Nevertheless, the Philippine Army remains vigilant in monitoring and continues to provide services to the people so that they will not return to and take advantage of the wrong ideology of the CPP and PANDF.
Pero siyempre, kahit wala na yung mga guerrilla fronts, ano pa rin tayo, alerto pa rin tayo, at tuloy pa rin dapat yung ating mga services na binibigay sa ating mga kababayan para hindi na ulit magkaroon ng issue na pwedeng i-exploit ng kabila.
For God and my beloved Philippines, Almar Forsuelo, SMNI News.
Public servants and companies with outstanding contributions to environmental conservation and sustainability receive recognition at the Nation Builders and Must Live Awards. Meanwhile, Sustainability Standards Incorporated believes that through their sustainability efforts, the Philippines can move closer to becoming a first world country. Here's the news from Jason Rubrico.
In this ever-changing era of global warming and climate change, it is important for everyone to contribute to the preservation and sustainability of the environment for the next generation. According to Sustainability Standards Inc. Chairman Carl Stewart McLean, both government and private sector leaders should take the lead in various sustainability efforts in support of the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals towards a global climate-neutral society by 2050.
We look at what they've done for sustainability. We look at what they've done. Are they doing recycling of plastics? Are they doing waste to energy? Are you doing renewable energy? We look at those areas. That's the most important thing. To stop talking and actually doing. And do it now, is what we always say, right? There's so much talking going on. We really need to get to action because the kids, our kids, they want a new world.
The Department of Interior and Local Government emphasized the importance of local governments focusing on programs and projects that promote environmental sustainability.
Napakahalaga niyan dahil alam naman natin ang mabilis na pagbabago ng ating panahon. Kapag nasisira po ang ating kapaligiran, natural resources, ang naapektuhan ng ating mga kabayan. Tayo rin po ang napapahamak. Kaya dapat dito po tayo nakafocus.
On Friday at Okada, Manila, local governments and companies continuing to promote sustainability through their programs and projects were once again recognized at the Nation Builders and Must Live Awards.
The leaders are the innovators, they are the change maker, and tonight we are gathered together with the 61 awardees who will be recognized from different plethora of organizations, whether it's from the local government units, different organizations, sustaining the program of the 17th program of the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals.
Among those recognized were public servants from the highest positions in government down to the barangay level. Provinces, cities, municipalities, and barangays considered as most sustainable and most livable were also honored. Several companies in the country were also recognized at the Nation Builders and Must Live Awards.
is such an honor to be a member again of this Muslim Award. Actually, this is my third. First was I was a counselor, and then second is being the mayor of Cauayan City. Of course, I guess they see Cauayan City as one of the most emerging cities that really pushes smart and sustainable actions on combating different problems in the city.
I feel grateful and thankful dahil isa na naman po ako sa mabibigyan ng karangalan ngayong araw na ito, and it's my third consecutive na Vice Mayor, Honorary Vice Mayor of the Year.
Being recognized as government workers, I'm happy and I feel very grateful for our achievement that the people recognize it, and we really proud as government officer that we be seen as one of the officers delivering services to the people.
Talagang nagpapasalamat po lahat kami sa PhilHealth, no? And every time we are given an opportunity like this to share our programs and policies, and we are always happy when we get recognized. Kasi po, talagang 24/7 po kami, lahat kami nagtatrabaho, and it always feels good to be recognized.
The Sustainability Standards Inc. believes that if more local governments and private sector entities continue to advocate for environmental sustainability, the Philippines can become a first world country.
And for the awardees, thank you for participating and accepting the awards. Congratulations to you, and hopefully we will help our country become a first world country, a first world economy, and we can start a movement of good governance and good leadership.
My congratulations to all the awardees in all the areas, the government sector, the private sector, mayors, congressmen, and all the CEO of the companies, and all the government service officials. Warm congratulations for them, and keep going, do good for the people.
Sustainability Standards Inc. expects that in the upcoming September, more organizations, government officials, and companies will be recognized in the 7th edition of the Nation Builders and Muslim Awards. For God and my beloved Philippines, I am Jason Rubrico, SMNI News.
A city in Thailand once again entered the list of the world's most polluted cities. Anissa de Guzman will tell us more.
The week has barely started, but Chiang Mai is already making international headlines as the 4th most polluted city in the world. At least 11 provinces were categorized under the Red Code, which means the particulate matter was ranked at seriously harmful levels, including Chiang Mai. Fine particles in the air are so small that they can travel deeply into the respiratory tract and reach the lungs, causing short-term health effects such as eye, nose, throat, and lung irritation, coughing, sneezing, runny nose, and shortness of breath, according to the New York State's Department of Health. The news came a few days after Bangkok and Chiang Mai joined the list of the top 10 most polluted cities worldwide. Thai Prime Minister Srettha Thavisin visited Chiang Mai in March to check the measures enforced by local officials to tackle air pollution. The prime mover warned to take strict government measures if the problem persists. Forest fires and the burning of agricultural waste are among the major contributors to choking pollution in the country. Thailand's cabinet endorsed the Clean Air Act aimed at improving air quality in the country in January. Reporting from Thailand, I'm Anissa de Guzman, your global citizen correspondent for God and our beloved country, the Philippines.
The brutal heat waves boiling parts of Asia has killed dozens of people in Thailand. Chatmongkong Pisamay Goson reports.
8 more people died from Thailand's extreme heat in the past 2 weeks.
Thailand's health department said most deaths occurred in northeast Thailand. A total of 38 people have died from heat stroke since the start of 2024. Most of the fatalities were laborers working outdoors, the elderly, heavy drinkers, and people with underlying conditions. The Health Ministry asked the public to avoid long exposure to direct sunlight and avoid drinking alcohol, while those in provinces mostly affected by the heat wave were advised to wear light clothes and drink lots of water. Large parts of South and Southeast Asia have endured weeks-long heat waves, which experts blamed on climate change.
The situation in Thailand is expected to improve this month due to the onset of the rainy season. Reporting from Thailand, I'm Shatmong Komisamay Koson, your Global Citizens correspondent for SM9 News Channel.
Malacanang is in favor of DepEd's recommendation to revert to the former school calendar. According to the government, this would be beneficial for students, especially amid the severe impact of the intense heat brought by El Niño on classes in some schools across the Philippines. President Catarong reports.
Amidst the worsening heat wave brought by El Niño, many schools in various parts of the Philippines have resorted to online classes to safeguard the health of students and teachers. In relation to this, the Department of Education conducted consultations with various stakeholders regarding the proposed return to the previous school calendar, where classes would run from mid-June to the end of March, and with April and May designated as school holidays, coinciding with the peak of the hot weather. DepEd Assistant Secretary Francis Cesar Bringas previously announced their submission of a letter to the Office of the President recommending the implementation of a shorter school year next year to expedite the return to the old school calendar or the June-March academic calendar. During an ambush interview on Monday at an event in Pasay City, President Bongbong Marcos Jr. said he hopes to have the old school year calendar back by next year and that he has requested Vice President and Education Secretary Sara Duterte to provide a concrete plan. DepEd, under the leadership of VP Sara, had already announced plans for a gradual return to the pre-pandemic school year, which was altered in 2020 due to the imposed lockdown brought by COVID-19.
Number one, ito ay resulta ng mga konsultasyon na natin. Collective decision na ito based on our consultations, yung reversion ng ating school calendar. At pangalawa, hindi natin pwede compromise ang pahinga ng ating mga teachers and ng ating mga learners dahil hindi natin pwede idire-diretso ang mga klase dahil kailangan ng pahinga, hindi lang ng teacher, kundi ng mga mag-aaral.
Vice President Sara Duterte emphasized that this move resulted from consultations with students. In February, DepEd issued a series of adjustments, including the scheduled conclusion of school year 2023 to 2024 on May 31. This was based on the Department Ordered Fee Series of 2024, which also aimed to implement a school break from June 1 to July 26, 2024. The order also outlined the subsequent school year scheduled from July 29, 2024 to May 16, 2025.
Yun na ang nalatag doon sa mga consultations natin na sa susunod na taon matatapos tayo mid-May at sa susunod na taon matatapos tayo ng April and then balik na tayo sa March.
Some parents believe that the old school calendar should be reinstated due to the adverse effects of intense heat on their children.
Bilang isang magulang, mas okay ako dun sa dating kagisan ng mga magulang na sa dating June to March ang graduation. Starting to ang pasok ng mga bata is June talaga enrollment. Matapos main man yung pasok ng mga bata is March. Ang nakakaawa yung malayo. Gaya na magkukumit sila or ihatid ng mga magulang. Ang magulang na kainitan din, lalo pang may mga sa puso.
Approve po ako dyan. Kasi po, syempre, di ba dapat dati-rati is ang bakasyon is April hanggang May. Kasi mahirap yung ganito yung summer, ang init-init, tas nasa school pabalik-balik.
Several senators have expressed support for the proposal to revert to the old academic calendar. Senator Ramon Bong Revilla Jr. expressed his support for the plea of students, parents, teachers, and other school personnel to revert the old calendar from June to March. Revilla also emphasized the necessity to avoid having school days during hot months like April and May, which pose health risks to children. Senator Bongo, as chairman of the Senate Committee on Health, also voiced his support for DepEd's initiative, emphasizing the importance of ensuring the health and well-being of students.
Ako po ay masaya. Gradually, ibabalik na po ng DepEd ang school calendar sa dating original school calendar na nakagawian natin. Hindi ko nga maintindihan kung bakit ito napunta sa ibang buwan ang bakasyon ng mga bata na tama naman po sana yon yung original, no? Dahil dapat po naayon po ito sa panahon. Summer, Abril, Mayo, mainit. Yun yung panahon na kailangan mo nating magpahinga.
For God and for my beloved Philippines, this has been Creslin Catarong, SMNI News.
Up next, deadly floods continue to ravage Brazil's Rio Grande do Sul. The death toll increases to 78 as rescuers scramble for more survivors. More news after the break.
Banateros tuwing Martes at Huwebes, live dito lang sa SMNI.
Yan ang Banateros, walang inuurungan. Pag tama palakpakan, pag mali ay babanatan.
Magandang umaga Luzon, Visayas, Mindanao. Maayong buntag mga kapartner. Magandang araw sa buong mundo.
Magandang araw Pilipinas. Ito ang Pulso ng Bayan.
Hihimayin ang mga pangunahing issue sa ating bayan. Susuriin ang mga kinakailangang malaman ng taong bayan. Aalamin ang pulso ng bawat Pilipino sa mga pangyayari sa ating lipunan. Pulso ng Bayan, alas 7 hanggang alas 9 ng umaga, tuwing Lunes hanggang Biyernes. Kasama ang spokes ng Bayan, Atty. Harry Roque, Admar Vilando at Jade Calabroso. Dito lang sa SMNI.
Kung akong tatanungin, kahit saang aspeto gusto ko garantisado. Metikuloso akong tao, kaya gusto ko lahat maayos at sigurado. Lahat quality, yung hindi ako makukompromiso pero sulit ang presyo. Ganyan ang clean fuel, kaya dito panatag ang loob ko.
Magandang umaga po, sir. Full tank po.
Full tank. Kung gusto mo ng dekalidad na gasolina pero sulit ang halaga, mag-clean fuel ka.
Magandang umaga Luzon, Visayas, Mindanao. Maayong buntag mga kapartner. Magandang araw sa buong mundo.
Magandang araw Pilipinas. Ito ang Pulso ng Bayan.
Hihimayin ang mga pangunahing issue sa ating bayan. Susuriin ang mga kinakailangang malaman ng taong bayan. Aalamin ang pulso ng bawat Pilipino sa mga pangyayari sa ating lipunan. Pulso ng Bayan, alas 7 hanggang alas 9 ng umaga, tuwing Lunes hanggang Biyernes. Kasama ang spokes ng Bayan, Atty. Harry Roque, Admar Vilado at Jade Calambroso. Dito lang sa SMNI. Problema nyo, itawag kay Panelo. Ikaw ba'y may suliranin na may kinalaman sa mga ahensya ng ating pamahalaan? Inihahandog ng SMNI ang programang makakapiling ninyo sa araw-araw na maaari ninyong maging daingan. Tampok ang dating Chief Legal Counsel ng nakaraang Pangulo, ang veteranong abogado na si Atty. Salvador Sal Panelo.
Bishops.
Tulong at payo tagapamagitan sa ating mga lingkod bayan. Problema nyo, itawag kay Panelo. Lunes hanggang Biyernes, alas 9 hanggang alas 10 ng umaga. Dito lamang sa SMNI. Ang totoong boses ng bayan. Magandang umaga Luzon, Visayas, Mindanao. Maayong buntag mga kapartner. Magandang araw sa buong mundo.
Magandang araw Pilipinas. Ito ang Pulso ng Bayan.
Hihimayin ang mga pangunahing issue sa ating bayan. Susuriin ang mga kinakailangang malaman ng taong bayan. Aalamin ang pulso ng bawat Pilipino sa mga pangyayari sa ating lipunan. Pulso ng Bayan, alas 7 hanggang alas 9 ng umaga, tuwing Lunes hanggang Biyernes. Kasama ang spokes ng Bayan, Atty. Harry Roque, Admar Vilado at Jade Calambroso. Dito lang sa SMNI.
Filipino criticized the statements of the Marcos Jr. administration on World Press Freedom Day, highlighting that it is being hypocritical. Meanwhile, a former chief presidential legal counsel said it's time for the people to go out in the streets to express their grief towards this administration. Sara Santos files this report.
Press freedom ka nga, pero sinasarado mo yung network.
Several people reacted to the statement of President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. on World Press Freedom Day. But the reactions were not positive, as the public is obviously disappointed with Marcos Jr.'s words when he said his administration values press freedom in the country. The two social media posts of President Marcos Jr. and the Presidential Communications Office, or PCO, in relation to press freedom were questioned and criticized by netizens. How can the Marcos Jr. administration say this after what they did to SMNI? In fact, the chief executive is being challenged to bring back SMNI in the name of world press freedom.
Tama yan ha. Hindi lamang yung problema sa press freedom, yung pamamalakad nila sa pagbibigay ng katarungan. Kaya we have a situation where accused of crimes are being held by public perception of being guilty. Why? Because they are tried by publicity. Why? Because the DOJ, ang ginagawa po nila, gaya ng ginawa nila kay Pastor Apollo Kibuloy, diyan kay dating Congressman Arnie Tevez, yang kay dating Director General ng Bucor na si Bantag, hinatulan na po nila na guilty. Wala pang ang preliminary investigation. Siniraan na ng siniraan. O kaya tuloy, ayaw nilang lumantad. Yan ang problema dito sa ating bansa ngayon. Si Pangulong Ferdinand Marcos Jr., maganda mga sinasabi niya. Press freedom. Maganda rin yung sinasabi niyang katarungan. Ang problema ho, yung mga nasa baba niyo, Mr. President, hindi kayo sinusunod Hindi pinatutupad ang mga patakaran na inilalatag nyo sa inyong administrasyon.
At the same time, the Philippines also fell by 2 places in the 2024 World Press Freedom Index by media watchdog Reporters Without Borders. The Philippines currently ranks 134th out of 180 countries, with media conditions continuing to fall below the standards of a free press, even without a government openly hostile to journalists. According to reports from the Center for Media Freedom and Responsibility, or CMFR, and the National Union of Journalists of the Philippines, or NUJP, there were more incidents of attacks and threats against journalists during the first 22 months of the Marcos Jr. administration compared to the same period under Duterte's term.
Alam po ninyo, kailangan talaga gayahin na natin yung mga lumalabas sa kalsada. Kailangan talaga iparamdam na sa administrasyon na hindi maganda ang ginagawa ng pangkalahatan. Kasi kung papakinggan mo si Presidente Marcos Jr., walang problema, maganda mga sinasabi niya Gaya nung sa ICC, walang jurisdiction, kahit anong gawin nyo, hindi kami makikisama sa inyo. Pagdating sa West Philippine Sea, gagalit siya. Ayaw din niyang pumayag. Pagdating sa press freedom, ganda na mga sinasabi niya. Katarungan, ganun din. Pero, bakit iba yata nakikita ng tao? Ba't iba ang ginagawa ng mga tao inyong ninombrahan? Kaya, umaalsa.
World Press Freedom Day was celebrated on the 3rd of May, and the PCO said it condemns all attacks on press freedom and calls for the protection of journalists and media workers worldwide. It can be noted that the operations of SMNI remain suspended until now, after the House of Representatives approved on third and final reading the revocation of its 25-year franchise. The measures taken by the lower house of Congress stemmed from the time SMNI anchors questioned the travel funds of House Speaker Martin Romualdez.
Ang pakiramdam namin, binubusalan kami. Sana huwag naman.
Ang nangyayari po ngayon sa SMNI, yan po'y nakakabahala. Bawal ba magtanong ngayon sa demokrasya? Martial law na ba ngayon sa Pilipinas?
Yung pang-aabuso ng mga nasa kapangyarihan.
Bakit kayo natatakot sa SMNI?
For God and my beloved country, the Philippines, this is Sara Santos, SMNI News.
France warmly welcomed Chinese President Xi Jinping at the start of his week-long visit to Europe, aimed to strengthening trade and economic ties in the region. Felicia Molina tells us more.
Chinese President Xi Jinping arrived in the French capital of Paris to mark the start of his historic visit to Europe. This is the first time the Chinese leader stepped on European soil since the COVID-19 pandemic halted global travel and locked international borders. The two-day state visit to France will focus on trade disputes and diplomatic efforts to end the war in Ukraine. Xi hailed the historic visit as a model of peaceful coexistence for the international community and a turning point for the Europe-China relations. His trip to the region comes at a challenging period marked by political differences between the West and the world's second-largest economy, where China chose to open up and ease tensions. The Chinese president will visit France, Serbia, and Hungary between May 5 and 10. Reporting, this has been Trisha Molina, SMNI News.
In United Kingdom, a Filipino community recently wrapped up its third season of Lasheras Sports, marking a triumphant celebration of athleticism and sportsmanship. Rose and Amyon for the story.
Milton Keynes has just wrapped up its third season of Lasheras Sports with resounding success. The Milton Keynes One-Day Tournament 2024, organized by Lasheras Productions, saw 6 formidable teams including MK Elite, Northampton, Bicester, Stevenage, Luton's Team Lakay, and Men of Might, competing under FIBA rules in a single round-robin format. According to Russell, the event organizer, the tournament aimed to promote health and camaraderie among the Filipino community in Milton Keynes and surrounding areas. Russell expressed satisfaction with the smooth execution of the tournament's third season and congratulated both the champions and all participants and supporters.
Congratulations sa mga sumali sa Team Lakay, Bicester, sa Stevenage, MK Elite at Men of Might. So thank you very much and congratulations MK Elite. They're really good players even though they're only 5. Salamat sa mga nagsuporta sa aming table officials, sa referee, sa mga taong nanood at sa Ocho Busog na nag-cater sa taas. Sa SMNI as well, thank you. Ang advocacy po namin, of course, sports, good health at saka camaraderie. Tao dito laging busy sa kanilang trabaho ngayon. Nakakakita sila ng magagandang basketball tournament. Ino-organize namin ng maayos para maiba-iba naman.
Following intense matches, MK Elite emerged as champions, showcasing their dominance, with Northampton and Bicester securing the first and second runner-up positions, respectively. Craig Joshua Lasheras was awarded the tournament's MVP title for his outstanding performance.
The event was really fun, very vibrant, very competitive. It was nice to see all the people come together, so we can play basketball. And it was really fun, a good day, really nice day, good memories to have.
The Bicester team, primarily composed of youths, expressed enjoyment of the tournament but hoped for a longer event duration in the future.
Maganda po yung liga pero mabilis lang. So dapat madaming quarters. It gathers loads of Filipino from different places.
The mythical team featured standout players from various teams, including Ronald Divino and Mike Sullivan from Northampton, along with Mark Obras, Drew de Guzman, and CJ Lasheras from MK Elite and Gab Formelosa. Reporting from United Kingdom, I'm Rose Ann Samyon, your global citizen correspondent for God and our beloved country, the Philippines.
In Brazil, rescuers are still scrambling to search for more survivors as floods in Rio Grande do Sul state have killed dozens of people over the week. Tens of thousands have been displaced after the record-breaking floods swept across the state, prompting President Lula da Silva to call for federal aid. Natalia Prado with the details.
Brazil's Rio Grande do Sul state is submerged in flood water, which killed dozens of lives over the last 7 days. In the capital city of Porto Alegre, the water level of Goiaba Lake has surged to 5.29 meters, as reported by the Department of Environment and Infrastructure and the National Water Agency. Tragically, the death toll due to the flood increased to 78 and 104 remain missing. According to local authorities, over 800,000 residents were displaced from their homes. This is the first time in history of Porto Alegre to have witnessed such devastating floods and rising water levels in Goiaba Lake. The previous mark was 4.76 meters, which occurred in 1941. The City Hall issued an alert for the catastrophic floods in the capital. President Lula visited Rio Grande do Sul for a second time on Sunday and called for federal aid for the state. He also urged lawmakers to release earmarks for the state, which has been hit by strong storms for days. Many residents joined to help rescue those stranded in their homes due to the intense flood. In a video, we can see civilians joining together to make a human rope in a way to rescue others. Meanwhile, the Brazilian government raised concerns about the persistent rainfall and the potential for further precipitation this week. Reporting, this has been Natalia Prado, your Global Citizen correspondent for SMNI News.
And before we end, may be inspired with the words of the sun. Those that know God know that love is God. And that's all for this edition. For more news updates, you may visit smninewschannel.com or follow us on our official social media accounts on Rumble, YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter. For God and my beloved country, the Philippines, I am Franco Baranda, and this is Newsline World.
This is SMNI News Channel. Truth that matters.
Subscribe to SMNI News Channel and turn on the notification bell to keep you up to date. Also visit our official social media accounts and join our community on Viber and Telegram.